Okay, so starting out my walk today after sleeping in the forest, you might say, well, gosh, Oracle, for the end of an age, connected to the source of all creation. Why must you sleep in the woods? Why don't you have your Holiday Inn Express, room 322? That is a very good question indeed, my friends and family of Pakto, as we try to deal with the Raka. But this is just to let you know some things. There was a Google Plus account for Johnny Exodice. That's why they removed Google Plus, because I filmed all the stuff in Santa Barbara. I guess they turned on my fucking Wi-Fi. Oh well, ain't worried about that. These are your Chinese bicycles. So when the Chinese take over America for Jade Helm 15, or the Russians, or the Africans, or the South Americans, who are all part of the Freemason lodges, this will be their world, and we will be slave labor put on FEMA ships and FEMA barges to work someplace where we're not seen anymore. These places, of course, are to take us out of town in the night with vans and buses and SUVs, the zebras, as we call them. Now, the zebra is a Jade Helm 15 truck or van or minivan or SUV. It's got a certain type of white paint. There's your cameras. Always be aware of your cameras. There's your barbed wire. Kind of ridiculous to do this, but if you're on the highway, you're going to have a little trouble running from the Jade Helm 15 if you run into barbed wire. And trust me, this stuff is along all highways across the country. Probably in Germany, Australia, Canada as well. Because if you go to deagle.com / or just go to the bottom of the webpage and look at countries, it says the USA will only have 100 million to survive in 2025. It's always the year 2025. It used to be 54 million. And I'm sure it still is the year 54 million. They could also take you away in trucks like that. And that's a strange power supply in the back. You should do recon where you live, walk around, look at things. Realize even this tree, as big as it is, was a transplant. It's not native to Georgia. That's why it's dying. It's not made for this kind of weather. And we had an extremely hot summer where the sun pelted us for 90 days or more, 3 months worth. Okay, this is our Greenbelt, Agenda 21, Agenda 30, where they make these pathways that you can't drive on. But apparently the cops, they get to drive on their Humvees. They're like little mini dune buggies to go down these paths, which is interesting. Now here's a way to get out of here. So there's an opening. Good to know. But yeah, so you're wondering about the World Republic, our World Republic Constitution, where you print that document, sign and date it, put it in your pocket, have your friends sign and date it. Well, that's all you do, because we're not going to be acknowledged by the machine. That, I tell you, is the Edison in Santa Barbara, California, USA. And if you'll go to Santa Barbara, California, USA, you'll see this on the ground everywhere. It's going to say Edison. Some of it will be like from the 1800s. Some will be very modern. But they use the same tech. This is the machine that causes the time loop, or the Ouroboros curse, or sends us back. Maybe they cause the sun to turn white hot and it goes backwards on a flat earth system, which sends time back 10,000 years. Not really sure how the dynamics of all that work. Still working things out. But, these places are not nature walks. This is after we're all dead. This is for those who get to live on. The ones who murder us. The ones who are part of the Freemasons. The Demolays, the Job Daughters. The Rainbow Girls, the Eastern Stars. All the other Raka. The Red Dragon from the Book of Revelation. Made in China. And, it's hidden in plain sight. Chinese have their own calendar. Their own New Year. Okay? And then the Muslims used to have their own calendar. And the Jews used to have their own calendar. And then the Pope, the Vatican, the Synagogue of Satan, the Jews who are not Jews. People who pretend to love and care about people. When Genesis says we were all Gentiles in the beginning. And even Paul the Apostle, if you'll read the New Testament right, says there is no Jew or Gentile. There is no male or female. There is no slave or free. Because in reality, you're just flesh, blood, and bones in a body avatar. And these beings, the trees, are also spirit. They're also life. Spirit inhabits everything. Soul inhabits everything. But the person, that is you. That is a person when you're dreaming. You're like, Oh, so every time I go to sleep, I travel back to a place I've lived before. And if I remember something or think I'm dreaming in the future, actually I'm just experiencing something that already happened, and it happened the same way this time. This could have happened millions of times. The new videos I've been posting on YouTube, well, that guy has, A Plain Truth, has shown that they can cover these places with mud. You cover everything with mud and muck, and then you just, oh, look what we found. We found the pyramids. No, you buried them in mud or sand. Hydrogen weapons, multi-purpose, destructive weapon. With hydrogen bombs, you can have tornadoes, tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanoes. You just drop the, you put the hydrogen bombs in the volcano, and then boom, there's your eruption. You have 10,000 jets fly in a circle to guide a Katrina or a Harvey. And then you have these WEX things, they're called, that pump up a bunch of steam like a teapot. And you flood out that neighborhood or those people, wherever you don't want non-Masons. And I don't know how many Freemasons actually know that they're just useful idiots to the Red Dragon. Lady in scarlet, lady in red. And of course the colors, if you're, if you got this book and you're watching these videos, I'm going to download these videos into the USB Book of Knowledge. That's what we're going to call it. The Book of Knowledge. Basically purple pizza, pineapple, and popcorn. The PPPP, the 4 P's of power, persistence, prestige, and predetermination. And these are schools where, young people are luckily able to leave. They're not fenced in or walled in. And, as a citizen of Carrollton and a citizen of Georgia, I'm within the borders to walk anywhere I wish. But the U.S. government has taken away all our rights, has been printing our money with the Federal Reserve. When Georgia and every other state, if our senators and our Congress people were allowed to represent the states they actually are supposed to live in, not be residents, because the word residence means a location you have your mail sent. The word domicile in the court systems, and everything runs by the courts, the Supreme Courts, all that stuff. They determine what your children will be taught. You see the prison lights over at the football stadium. You just got to open your eyes up to this stuff. There are not crazy people shooting and hurting anyone except Freemasons, or children who've been kidnapped from us, raised to be monsters. Because you take a child at 2 years old and teach them things, and then you release them, into the wild, like that squirrel, then, they're going to do what they're going to do. So I make these videos to just kind of show you our schools, and, someday I guess we'll have security here, but these young people are, I guess this is middle school, not elementary. And it's good that they're out and playing basketball, and they're free to do what they want to do. I mean, that's what you want to do in an open society. You want to be able to, film things and talk about things and have, discussions about flat Earth, about the celestial sphere, about the militarization of the police, where G4S, Academy, many other things can take over and do what you need to do. So, we're always on camera. I guess we shouldn't be ashamed or worried about that, but there should be a time when you don't have to be on camera and you can have a little privacy. Now that thing right there is a motion detector. So I'm going to walk in front of the camera. It's detecting my motion, and the camera is supposed to catch me. But if you walk this direction, then what camera is going to catch you? Flat Earth Turtle. We love our flat Earth. So anyway, I had lots of videos on Facebook. I had lots of blips on Google Plus where I filmed the moon fly through the sky in 1 hour. Watch the moon turn into 5 moons at once. Watch the constellations do things they're not supposed to do, because we are inside a giant construct, a machine. And, that's just kind of how it works. And then we got people who are, watching out, taking care of one another. And I'm trying to find a pathway that I have to remember. There's a longer walk that way. I'm not going to walk that way today, but I'll probably have to wait for the kids to move along. So anyway, I'm going to stop the video here. I guess you'll get 2 videos today. And just keep doing your best to do your research, study up, and learn. Looks like I'm going that way. All right. Talk to you in a little bit.